Welcome to day 5 of my 12 days of DIY gift ideas. My name's Anna. I'm so glad you're here. Today's gift idea is a classic for any of you paper crafters out there. It is a card set. Now, today's card set has a really neat gift box, and it also has a really neat technique for how you can make a matching card set using one piece of cardstock. So I hope you'll stick around and watch. To make this really nice card set, you're only going to need a few things. I am going to be using the Eden's Garden stamp set for this. Now you could substitute another set. If you have another leafy set, Forever Fern or Forever Greenery, that is a beautiful set that would be a good substitute for this one. But we need these stamps, we need a few colors of ink, and several pieces of cardstock. You need 2 pieces of cardstock. That will be the card bases. We're going to end up with 4 cards in our gift box. So 2 pieces for your card bases, 1 for the matte piece that will lay behind the white pieces on the fronts of the cards, and 2 pieces of white cardstock. Let's start with our stamping. And I do want to trim this piece down a little bit before I start. I'm going to show you how I like to cut my paper. So I did not cut this ahead of time. Open up the arm here and line my paper up at 7 3/4 inches. We'll flip it this direction. We need to cut it at 10 1/4. So this will be the perfect size to cut down into 4 card fronts here in a little bit, but we want to do our stamping first with this really fun technique. So let me show you the ink colors I have chosen. I have all 5 of the foliage stamps from the set, and I am using the following colors: Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Soft Suede, Smoky Slate, and Crumb Cake. Now I am going to lay my stamps on my stamp sets here so that I don't get my colors mixed up. I am going to use this big beautiful stamp. That one is going to be with Soft Suede, and actually I'm going to pull these out of the way for now. So what I'm going to do is stamp a floral cluster in the center and then some on each of the corners. And I'll show you, if you want to get some different color variation, you can actually do some stamping off and stamp 2 times without re-inking. I love the look of stamping off. Okay, so we'll put those in the corners. Now I want to start adding in with some of these smaller foliage stamps. So next, I think I will add in some of this leaf with Night of Navy ink. For the first one I created, I used greens and pinks. And for this one, I just decided I wanted to go with blues and browns. Now I want a lighter stamp here in the inside. So I stamped off once on my scrap paper. With this navy, I can actually stamp several times without having to go back and stamp again. So this is pretty carefree, but basically we are just trying to create some really nice floral or foliage clusters in the center and then around the edges. Okay, that looks pretty good with that one. Now I have 3 more stamps, and I am going to use this one with some Crumb Cake. Crumb Cake is just a beautiful neutral color, and actually it looks a lot like the Soft Suede did on those first ones I did when I stamped off. So we'll add in some of these. I do want to add in a little bit more blue with my Misty Moonlight, which is a really pretty color I use very often. If you find that you have any holes where it seems like there's a lot of white space, you can just use any of your stamps to go back and fill some of those in. The lighter colors especially. If you use the darker ones, it may be a little bit more noticeable, which is okay if you want it to be noticeable. Now let's use this stamp with the Misty Moonlight. Now in my other sample, I did this stamp with the pink and it made it look a little bit like flower clusters, and I really liked how that looked. On this one, I just want to use this Misty Moonlight. I thought these blues and browns would just look beautiful together. And card sets are such a nice gift idea for people. For those of you who stamp, you likely have the things in your collection to make up some card sets and share them with your loved ones. So this is a really fun way to do that with this neat technique that we are working on right now. Now I have this last little leaf stamp and I pulled out some smoky slate ink. Now I'm questioning whether we need it, but just for fun, we'll add a few of these in. I really like what I found when I made my first one is I really like the little dots in this stamp, and I thought they added a fun texture that really added a lot to these projects instead of just being a bunch of leaves kind of blended together. These added that different texture that really kind of makes it stand out. So we'll add a few of these, the little leaf with the dots. And depending on what color you pick for this, if you pick a darker color, you may have to be a little bit more careful on how you're stamping or where you're stamping. But with this light color, as you can see, I'm just kind of stamping wherever. Okay, now here's where it gets fun. So we're going to cut this into 4 pieces. So I'm going to line this up at the 3 7/8 inch mark. That will cut this in half. Now I'm going to put these on top of each other. You can cut more than one layer at once. And line this up at 5 1/8. Now, when I cut 2 layers of cardstock at once, I like to run it up and back and pull over here to make sure everything is loose before I move this side. That way, in case I need to cut again, I can. Now, let's lay these out, and these are going to be the fronts of our cards. Aren't these pretty? So I pulled the greeting stamps from the set, sending hugs, hello there, and dear friend. These are a few of them. There are some more. And I am going to use some Night of Navy ink to add these greeting stamps. Now, if you have a Stamparatus, I really encourage you to use it when you are doing this. That way, if anything goes wrong with stamping these greetings, you can just stamp again in the same place and fix it. And I really like this one that says sending hugs. So there we go. We have all of these pieces stamped and ready to put on our cards. So what we want to do next is let's cut the rest of this cardstock. Crumb Cake is the color I chose to mat the stamped pieces. So to cut this to the size I want, I line it up at 8. This is going to cut off 1/2 inch from this side. I'm going to turn it, line it up at 10 1/2. This is going to cut 1/2 inch off this side. Now I'm going to line it up at 4 1/4. And you may be noticing I created my lines on this trimmer to help with this. So if you have questions about that, let me know. I'm going to line this up at 4. Do a double cut, make sure this is loose before I move this. So these pieces are prepped now. And let's do our card bases. Here is where the Stampin' Up! Trimmer is so nice. I am going to line this up at 4 1/4 and use my scoring blade. This lighter colored one is the scoring blade. To do my score marks, I like to do this first. And then I'll lay these on top of each other. Line it up at 5 1/2. Do a double cut with both of my layers, and I have my 4 card bases prepared. With your last piece of white cardstock, you'll need to cut those down the same way we did the crumb cake pieces, so that they measure 5 1/4 by 4 inches for 4 of those as well. Now we are ready to start assembling, and let's go ahead and put our cards together, and then I'll show you how to put the card box together. So I am just going to fast forward this while I assemble these, and you can watch along. So here you can see my cards. Aren't those just beautiful? I just love how these colors turned out. Now let me show you how to assemble the gift box, and we will finish this up quickly. So here are these craft gift boxes. They come laying flat, and they have the score lines that make it really nice and easy for you to fold on them. They also have the adhesive already on them. So all you have to do is remove the little flap, the little paper backing, and fold the flap into place and adhere it. So I'll remove these 2 down here and fold this piece in. This will be the front of the bottom of the box. So I'll fold this in, adhere this corner together. Now I'll fold this flap in, adhere this. Now I can do the same thing right here in the center of the box with these 2 flaps. Fold that up. And pinch these sides together here. And then we'll do the top of the box. So we'll fold these pieces in. This one up, and now we can remove this. Okay, so we have the top flap, and it will fit nicely over the bottom one. So since it's a card set and you may be giving it to someone who doesn't have envelopes, you want to make sure to include the envelopes. You can put your cards on top and then decorate however you like, with a ribbon or with some more decorations if you prefer. So hope you like this project idea. I do have some others from some of my other days of DIY gift ideas that I would love for you to check out. I have a handy little purse organizer with a notebook and a calendar in it. I have a cute bag that holds lip balm or small treats. Also this one is my favorite so far right here, the little pampering set. And there's a bottle of lotion that belongs right here. And my small helper, I think, stole it and took it away, so you can't see it right now. But there's links for those that you can take a look at if you like. So thanks for watching along. You can find links to the products I used in the video description below. Please like, subscribe to this video, and comment if you have any questions or suggestions for me for the future. Hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you again next time when I'll be here helping you to hand make with love.